Hello learners, I am Dr. Anand Vardhan, a faculty at School of Heritage, Research and Management, Ambedkar University, Delhi. I will discuss today mature Harappan sites. In the last lecture, we have elaborately discussed evolution of Harappan civilization and its important archaeological sites excavated so far. We have already learned that the Harappans enjoyed a surplus economy based on rural boom that gave impetus to urban economy. The objective of the lecture is to discuss the mature Harappan civilization, its economic life, culture, art, architecture, religion, and their remarkable achievements. The purpose of this lecture is to make you acquainted with craft specialization and international trade of the Harappans. So, we will discuss trade and commerce first. Although the trade and outside influences seem to have played a part, the Harappan civilization developed mostly indigenously. This development was not confined to any particular date, but was a long process which may have taken centuries to give shape to the cities which were the hallmarks of the mature Harappan civilization. Movement of population and settlements in the floodplains of the Ghaggar-Hakra valley seemed to have heralded the process of this development. Growing technological sophistication and the cultivation of fertile plains created more surplus and led to an increase in population. The increasing surplus liberated a section of the population from farming activities and turned them towards crafts. A specialization in pottery making, metallurgy, etc. were achieved during the early Harappan period, and these skills were communicated through various channels to faraway places. This is why the Kotdisian potteries were discovered in the entire Indus area and even to places as distant as Kalibangan. Trade links with far-flung areas were established by the groups interested in acquiring precious commodities such as lapis lazuli, silver, gold, etc., which were not locally available. Organized group of priests also emerged who indulged in religious activities. The growth of elite groups like traders, priests, and statesmen led towards the increasing distinction among the population, leading ultimately to class division. The need to communicate with distant lands as well as for continuation of specialized knowledge may have led to the invention of writing a script, and hence the birth of civilization took place. We will take some of the important sites of mature Harappan phase. For example, I am going to discuss Shortghui, that is situated in North Afghanistan. It represented the northernmost boundary of the Harappan civilization. Both dry and wet farming was done in this region. Houses and other structures were built with bricks of Harappan size 32 into 16 into 8 centimeters. The discovery of precious stones, ceramic designs and other objects put it firmly within the orbit of Harappan civilization. Another site is Sotak Gandor, located near the Maran coast close to Pakistan Iranian border in Balochistan. This Harappan town was surrounded by a defensive walled enclosure. Its position was that of a trading post near seaport. one of the most important sites in Mohenjo-daro that you already know. This was, according to some scholars, the most representative and the largest among all the cities of Harappan period. In modern times, it is located in Larkana district of Sindh province in Pakistan. In the beginning of 20th century, this area was considered to be most fertile and one of the biggest grain marts in the entire region. During prehistoric times, it was situated on the bank of river Indus, which flows 3 miles to the east of the site. According to Jan's leading archaeologist, Mohenjo-daro was built according to a highly sophisticated planning concept, most elaborately based on cosmological principles. But we do not know who those planners and architects were. The city was divided into 2 major parts, a citadel on the western side and the lower city on the eastern side. The citadel was built on a massive man-made platform measuring 400 into 200 meters and was 7 meters in height. A 6-meter thick brick wall was filled with sand and silt in order to make this platform. The area surrounding the citadel was dug and filled with water, providing it further protection. On this platform, other smaller platforms were constructed for making structures of special importance. The most debated and famous one, Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro, is one of them. It measures 12 into 7 meters and is 3 meters deep. It was constructed very carefully with bricks covered with gypsum, mortar, a building material and a thin layer of bitumen, a waterproofing compound being applied to make it watertight. A well in the adjoining room is supposed to have supplied it with water. The scholars believe that it was used for ritual bath. On one side of the Great Bath is a long building which some scholars believe to have been the residence of a very high official, possibly the highest priest. Among large structures on the citadel was the granary. It consisted of 27 rectangular blocks measuring 45 into 72 meters from east to west and 22.36 meters from north to south. Assembly hall was at another structure, a square built. It has 20 rectangular brick pillars arranged in 4 rows of 5 each. In fact, the entire structure of the citadel was so imposing that the highest building must have been a height of 20 meters above the ground level and could be seen from a long distance. Another important feature of Mohenjo-daro was the existence of a well-developed drainage system. The water from the houses passed through chutes into covered drains on the sides of the streets. Trinkets made of beads of carnelian, shell, etc. have been also found at Mohenjo-daro. Potteries have also been found in abundance. Evidence of advanced metallurgy and production of bronze objects have been reported from here. Another important site after that this civilization has been named is Harappa. It was the second largest city of the Harappan civilization, covering an area of 370 acres compared to Mohenjo-daro's 500 acres. It was located on the bank of Ravi in western Punjab, that is now situated in Pakistan. It was the first site that was discovered in 1921 by the Aram Sahni. It therefore lends its name to the entire civilization. The city, like Mohenjo-daro, was divided into citadel and lower city. The citadel was raised structure that was surrounded by brick wall. We have also similar kind of construction in Harappa itself. An important structure identified at Harappa is a great granary. The structure suggests that transportation and collection of grains from rural area was done very properly. To the south of the granary, there is a row of circular brick platforms for threshing grains. Just below the citadel, there are two rows of barracks like structures, possibly accommodating the poorer people or even slaves. Another important site, Kalibangan, is situated in Rajasthan. This site is on the south bank of the dried up Ghaggar. It is a small site. This site covers an area of 1 square kilometer. It also consists of two separate mounds signifying the citadel and the lower city. The entire city was fortified with a wall of mud brick. The houses were constructed with mud bricks and baked bricks were not used in great number. The construction was poorer in quality, although the planning was similar. A significant aspect of this site is the discovery of fire altars with remains of animals in its ashes. These altars were made of burnt bricks and were situated on the top of 5 or 6 differently sized mud brick platforms and could be approached by flight of steps. The eastern sector represents the habitation of the lower order of people. The houses were similar in size and most of them had fire altars. This seems that they served a major religious purpose. The system of street drainage, so conspicuous in Mohenjo-daro, is absent here. But soakage jars were used occasionally to collect the wastewater from the wooden house drains. Kalibangan is an extremely excavated Harappan site in India, and a view of the fire altar, defensive walls and the citadel is of tourist interest. Entrance of a house shows the corridor and flanking rooms at the excavated site. House drains discharging into a soakage jar in the street is another important archaeological relic of an advanced city structure. We have another significant site, Banawali. This site is in the Hisar district of Haryana and is situated on the dried up course of Saraswati river. The city had an enclosure wall measuring 300 into 150 meters. Although it was divided into the citadel and the lower city, the citadel was not placed on a raised platform like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. It was, however, separated from the lower city by a 5 to 7 meter thick wall. This settlement also does not seem to have a regular drainage system, and like Kalibangan, soakage jars were used to collect the wastewater. Fire altar is also reported from here, that is strong evidence of popular fire cult. Another significant site that I am going to discuss is Lothal. It was excavated by Dr. S.R. Rao and it has been highly debated site. Presumably, it is a port city with first evidence of a man-made dockyard. The dockyard is veneered by terracotta bricks. It is situated at the confluence of Bhogwa and Sabarmati rivers that connected the port to the sea. The terracotta model of ship discovered from here is a great testimony of maritime activities. Persian Gulf type of seals have been discovered from here. That is another evidence of seafaring trade of the mature Harappan period. In the vicinity of the dockyard, there is a well and a warehouse with elevated platforms for loading and downloading goods. This Harappan site is situated within a agrarian landscape of rich wheat and cotton growing area of Gujarat. It played vital role in international trade and establishing trade contacts with the contemporary West Asian civilizations like Mesopotamia and Egypt. This city, unlike Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Kalibangan and Banavali, was not divided into the citadel and the lower city, although the entire city had a walled fortification wall. It had a rectangular design and burnt bricks were used more than at Kalibangan, though mud bricks were also extensively used. Now we will discuss one very important and interesting site discovered within the boundary of India, independent India. It is Dholavira. Dholavira is the most startling discovery made so far within the boundary of independent India. Situated at sea coast of Gujarat, this city is a rare example of a planned industrial town. The excavation at this site revealed a town with three remarkable divisions. One can be overwhelmed to see a water-cut reservoir of this town. The city had a grand system of water management, harvesting of rainwater and its storage. There has been found a parallelogram as well. Drains and roads of the city are evidences of a grand trading city. Dressed stones of roundel shape have been found from large houses that were used to give solidarity and strength to the public structures. Apart from Dholavira, a very good number of sites have been excavated in India. For example, Kunal, Kuntashi, Prabhaspatan, Bhagatra, Daimabad, Balathal, Chirsara and Rakhigadi are highly significant. Kunal is famous for regalia and a pot full of large sized beads. Daimabad is known for heavy bronze images of chariot, bison, etc. Rakhigadi has also revealed a structural base of massive buildings like a gallery. Balathal was an industrial city that has produced evidence of flourishing cottage industry of mature Harappan phase. Mention can be made of Alamgirpur, Parichakra Nagri and Mandi in UP. From there also Harappan artifacts have been reported. Friends, it is also important to know that what kind of scientific achievements these Harappans made. In fact, Harappan developed a scientific system of weights and measures. They developed cities based on grid pattern with drainage system. They developed navigation system. In the field of architecture, they evolved English bond method. They harvested rainwater and evolved a system of purification of water for drinking. Their techniques of polishing, cutting and bead making deserve a special appreciation. They also evolved lost wax technique for making copper and bronze images. in the field of metallurgy. Therefore, their achievement is highly significant. They excelled in Masonic as well as metallic art. Their terracotta paintings reveal their knowledge of mineral colors. They worked on medicine and used silajit to gain pottery. Making of jewelry, especially gold and silver jewelry and utensils of copper and bronze on scientific line establishes their sound knowledge of metallurgy. Now we will discuss some of the salient or common features of mature Harappan civilization. The Harappans lived in an age when long distance communication took months, if not years. The road transport could only be used for covering short distances, and even that took a long time because of the slow moving bullock carts were the only means of land transport. The water transport was faster, but even that it was not possible to govern the distant areas. Thus, any idea of a centralized Harappan government has to be discounted completely. The idea, however, did travel and were manifested in various common features of town planning, pottery production, tool designs and craftsmanship. It means that various Harappan cities must have evolved at different times, borrowing ideas but transforming them to suit the local conditions. Thus, we find that the division of the city into the citadel and the lower city was found in Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan, Banawali, besides other settlements, but the use of baked bricks and regular drainage system were not to be found in Kalibanga and Banawali. It means we have evidences that bring to the fore that there were local variants of architecture. On the other hand, while Lothal used the baked bricks, it doesn't show evidence of internal division of the city into citadel and the lower city like many of the cities that we have already discussed. Similarly, while the idea of fortification was a common one, Kalibangan, Lothal and Banawali reveal the existence of a common city enclosure, whereas in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, the fortification was mainly around the citadel area only. The potteries, tools and other products of craftsmanship show more evidences of a unified cultural pattern. Though again with regional variations, the red and black potteries showing motifs of bulls, people lips, fishes, horned deities and birds etc. have been found in almost all the settlements. The Harappan seals wearing the pictographic script are also discovered at many places. Tools made of copper, bronze and stone show uniformity in design and techniques of production. All these facts show that the Harappan civilization, though distributed over a wide area, manifested certain common cultural traits. Well, in the last, I am sure that after listening this video, you are able to understand the following points. The Harappan civilization evolved of a long process of development spread over hundreds of years. In the beginning of this process, the nomadic tribes settled down to agricultural life. Slowly, the agricultural communities formed villages which became larger with the development of agriculture. The harnessing of flood water increased the agricultural surplus, thereby freeing a section of the population from farming activities. The accumulation of surplus and development of various skills and craftsmanship led towards differentiation in the local character of craftsmanship that gave way to a more homogeneous style, particularly in pottery making. This style was called Cottesian style and was found at most early Harappan sites. The homogeneity was also witnessed in the realm of religious ideology. Painted horned bull deities, terracotta mother goddesses, and representations of various other artistic motifs point towards this process. Internal and long distance trade flourished, and trade and cultural contacts were established with faraway regions. The mature Harappan civilization arose out of these developments, particularly in the Indus region, and grew out to spread its wings far and wide. In terms of territory, this seems to be the largest civilization among its contemporaries like Egyptian and Mesopotamian civilization. Thank you very much.